World War I, a global conflict of unprecedented scale. From 1914 to 1918, empires clashed on land, sea, and air. Millions of soldiers found themselves locked in a brutal stalemate along the Western Front, stretching across France and Belgium. This network of trenches became a symbol of the war's horrific nature. And it was here, amidst the mud and barbed wire, that one battle would come to define the Great War, Verdun. Verdun held immense strategic value for both sides. For the Germans, capturing this ancient fortress city would be a devastating blow to French morale. It would also provide a crucial stepping stone towards Paris, the ultimate prize. The French, on the other hand, were determined to hold on to Verdun at any cost. It was a symbol of their nation's resilience, a bulwark against the German onslaught. The city's defenses were formidable, with a ring of forts and artillery emplacements guarding its approaches. The Germans knew that a direct assault would be costly, so they devised a plan to bleed the French army dry. Their strategy to launch a massive offensive, inflicting heavy casualties and forcing the French into a war of attrition they could not win. The German offensive began on February 21st, 1916. With a thunderous artillery bombardment. Hundreds of thousands of shells rained down on the French lines, transforming the battlefield into a landscape of craters and shattered trees. Under cover of this relentless barrage, German infantry advanced wave after wave into the teeth of French resistance. The French, though outnumbered and outgunned, fought with extraordinary courage and tenacity. They clung onto their positions with grim determination, repelling attack after attack. The fighting was close and brutal, a maelstrom of hand-to-hand combat, machine gun fire and exploding shells. Casualties on both sides mounted at an alarming rate. The Battle of Verdun saw the rise of two key military figures, General Philippe Pétain on the French side and Crown Prince Wilhelm of Germany. Pétain, a calm and resolute leader, took command of the French forces in late February. He recognized the importance of maintaining morale and organized a continuous rotation of troops to and from the front lines. This Noria system, as it became known, ensured that fresh soldiers were constantly available to replace those exhausted by the relentless fighting. Crown Prince Wilhelm, eager to prove himself on the battlefield, commanded the German Fifth Army at Verdun. He shared his father, Kaiser Wilhelm II's belief in a decisive victory at Verdun and pushed his troops relentlessly. However, his aggressive tactics resulted in heavy casualties and ultimately failed to break the French defenses. The trenches of Verdun. The trenches of Verdun were a nightmarish world of mud, blood, and constant danger. Soldiers on both sides endured unimaginable conditions. The air was thick with the stench of death and cordite. Rats infested the trenches, feasting on the bodies of the fallen. Rain turned the battlefield into a quagmire, making movement difficult and exacerbating the misery. Disease was rampant, and the constant shelling took a heavy toll on the mental and physical health of the combatants. Shell shock, now known as PTSD, became increasingly common. Yet, amidst this living hell, soldiers found ways to cope. They formed bonds of camaraderie, wrote letters home, and clung to the hope of survival. Attrition and resilience. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the German plan to bleed the French army dry was backfiring. The French, bolstered by Petain's leadership and the Noria system, were proving more resilient than anticipated. Moreover, the Germans themselves were suffering unsustainable losses. Their offensives, though fierce, were becoming increasingly costly and less effective. By the summer of 1916, the tide began to turn. The French launched a series of counterattacks, slowly but surely regaining lost ground. The Germans, exhausted and demoralized, were forced onto the defensive. The Battle of the Somme, launched by the British in July 1916, further diverted German resources away from Verdun. A costly victory. Verdun's impact on the war. Although the French ultimately succeeded in holding on to Verdun, the victory came at a terrible cost. Both sides suffered hundreds of thousands of casualties in the battle's 10 grueling months. The landscape around Verdun was scarred beyond recognition, transformed into a desolate wasteland of shell craters and shattered forests. Verdun became a symbol of French resilience and sacrifice, but it also highlighted the brutal futility of trench warfare. The battle had a profound impact on the course of World War I, draining the resources and morale of both sides. It contributed to the eventual German defeat and left an indelible mark on the national psyche of France. The battlefield of Verdun stands as a poignant reminder of the horrors of war. The Ossuaire de Douaumont, a vast ossuary, contains the remains of over 130,000 unidentified French and German soldiers. The Mémorial de Verdun Museum offers a comprehensive account of the battle, while preserved trenches and forts provide a chilling glimpse into the realities of trench warfare. Every year, thousands of visitors from around the world come to Verdun to pay their respects and learn about this pivotal battle. The site serves as a place of remembrance, a reminder of the human cost of conflict and the importance of peace. The Battle of Verdun stands as a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the importance of peace. It teaches us that even in the darkest of times, courage, resilience, and sacrifice can prevail. Yet it also serves as a cautionary tale about the devastating consequences of unchecked nationalism and the futility of conflict. As we remember Verdun, let us honor the sacrifices of those who fought and died there by striving for a more peaceful and just world. Let us learn from the mistakes of the past and work towards a future where such horrific conflicts are consigned to the history books.